What's up, everybody? It's AJ with etrailer.com. Today we're going to be checking out the Telesteps Telescoping Ladders. These are going to be a great way to get to the top of your rig if you need to do some maintenance, or just if something happens, you're on a trip, you hear something scrape on the roof, you want to go check it out, you can do that. You don't have to worry about it all weekend and wait till you get home to use that ladder in your garage. You can actually use one of these telescoping ladders that's stored right here in your basement and get way more compact than your standard ladder ever could, and makes it way easier to store. Let's check it out. For example, we have a bunch of different ladders here for the shop for different videos we're doing. It would really cut down on space if we just had a couple of the big ladders that we could telescope out to what we need, instead of having all these different ladders jammed in this corner. Now, before we get further into these style ladders, if you're looking at these and you're not too thrilled about leaning them up against your rig, you want something more traditional, Telesteps does offer the A-frame style ladder, so that'll have two legs like that and sit like a normal ladder would, but still be able to collapse and take up less space. But today we're mainly going to be focused on this 10.5 and 12.5 telescoping ladders that each have the weight capacity of 250 pounds. So we know how much they are fully extended. Let's see how much they are fully compacted. So we're going to start in the 10.5 foot one. From top to bottom, we got 29.5 inches. From side to side will be about 17.5 inches. And then we'll come to our 12.5 foot one, go from top to bottom. Once again, looks like it's 32 inches by 18 inches. Measurements are one thing, but seeing it is another thing. So I'm going to go ahead and throw them here in our basement area. And it's quite the achievement to be able to hold a 12.5 foot ladder and a 10.5 foot ladder in the same compartment. You wouldn't be able to do that with full-size ladders. So the fact that you can break them down like this and store them easily in this compartment, and then they're out of sight, out of mind, and they're not taking up a bunch of space. I gotta admit, when we first got this project to work on these, I was a little skeptical of the telescoping ladder. I'm just used to old school ladders, regular kind that have the two sides, the A-frame style, and they're sturdy. I don't have to worry about them collapsing themselves. I understand that, you know, those ladders take up a lot of space and you have to have a bunch of different sizes of them. So if I got the 12.5 one here, I wouldn't need this second ladder just in case I didn't need to go that high. You know, I wouldn't need to have 4 different ladders in my garage. I could just have this one and take it up to the height I needed it. So then I understand, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, that saves space in my garage. I climbed up on it too, plenty, to get it and trust it and know that it's going to hold up just fine. Just because it collapses doesn't mean it's going to do it while you're on there. Telesteps included plenty of safety features to let me know that it's fine. It clicks it into the base, so it's not going to come down here. Each one of these has an indicator that turns green to let me know that it's safe to use the step. It's not going to collapse on itself unless I go to the bottom and pull the switch, then it comes back down. So as I climbed up and down them, used them more, and thought about it, I started to trust it more and get with the idea a little bit better. I think they are a really good idea, especially for your rig. They don't take up a lot of space in that basement. You know, you only have limited space there. You can't strap a big ladder to the top. You have to throw it in there. So the fact that it collapses, you can throw it in that basement. You could probably even put it in a closet on the inside and it's out of the way. It's pretty appealing. Now, I mentioned that you could adjust the size. We have it fully extended to its 12.5 feet up here. You can see, I'm going to drop it back down and show you how to do that. You just come down here at the bottom because the base doesn't collapse. So you're going to come down here, you can feel the button. So you pull those and it'll start coming down. And it just folds down like that. You only need to hit the button once and it starts coming down. And it's nice that it comes down nice and slow. There's a gas strut in there that keeps it from just rapidly falling. You want it to be kind of in the medium, as you'll see later on, that you don't want it too slow and you definitely don't want it too fast. I think this is the exact middle that you want it. I can put my hand there, lower it down and adjust it, and don't worry about like moving my hand or getting it out of the way just in case. It's easily manageable to go up and down. So we'll go back up now and show you that the base locks in like that, so then it won't collapse back down again. I mentioned how it has an adjustable height, and I just wanted to show you what I was talking about. I'm going to come down here to the bottom, push the two tabs together, and that's going to drop it back down, and then I'll readjust the height. So first we'll come down here and let it start collapsing. You only have to hit it once, then you can just hold onto the ladder as it comes down. So now that it's fully compact, I can grab here. Since I'm not going to need the full length of it to go all the way up, I'll put 1 foot here at the bottom, grab out here in the center, and just pull up. So now it's locked in place. If I just need to get to about here, I can. I don't have to fully extend the ladder every time. So this is what I meant by not having a bunch of different ladders, different sizes. You can kind of adjust this to which one you need. Something I want to touch on is that it took me a couple times to figure out myself when I was messing with this, but when you want to fully extend it, you grab it from the top and then fully extend it. If you only want part of the ladder, you have to make sure that you grab it at a certain position, because if you go to here and pull it from the top and say you want to stop here, that's not how it works. It's not going to lock you in. It's still going to fall back down on you. You want to make sure the base is locked. So you'll probably come back down here, like we'll go to the halfway point, pull it up, and show you. Now it's locked into place. These only lock if the one underneath them is locked. So pulling them up here from the base where it doesn't fall down into locks. That way you can use it to about there and be fine. Let's say we parked at some campgrounds where it's in the fall, leaves are falling, branches are falling, and you had your slide out. There's some leaves and branches up there, so you can't pull the slide out in yet. You don't want to damage anything, so you got to get up there and kind of clear out the leaves and branches. So we're going to take our ladder. We got the 10.5 feet one right now. So we're not going to need all of it. I'll probably come to about here and pull it out, but I wanted to show you the rubber pads on top first. That's what's going to rest against the slide out. So it's not going to cause any damage or leave any marks or anything. Another thing is these indicators. You see how they're all red right now? That means you can't climb on it. It'll turn green when they snap into place. So I'm going to start extending this, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. You can hear every click is one of them locking into place. It means they're locked in. With it fully extended, I can push down on it a little bit. You can see it's not going right back in. You can see every one of these is green now, which means it's okay to go ahead up the ladder. So I'm going to take the rubber pads at the top, lean them against the slide out, and then start climbing. So now I can see up here and get the branches I need. Just grab my brush and take care of it. Another nice addition is the way the feet work. You can see I can tilt it back and forth and it always stays level, which is good because you're going to be leaning this ladder against something, and so that way you always have level footing. This adjusts and always stays flat no matter what direction I move it. Take a closer look at them. You can see you also get a grip. So not only is it always level footing, but you got a nice grip on there. It's made out of silicone, so it's going to be able to grab most different terrain that you're sitting on. When shopping around for different collapsible ladders, you've probably seen there's a couple different brands out there. I have some of the competitors right here, but wanted to show you some traits about them to maybe further explain why we picked the Telestep ones over these. There's a bunch of little things that add up that you wouldn't know until you already bought them and had to deal with it. So we're going to look at this one first. One thing, the big thing about these is they're collapsible ladders, right? You want to see them collapse. Well, there's different speeds for that. We have the two different extremes here. This one's really slow, and that one drops really fast. I'm going to show you this one first to show you how slow it goes, which isn't necessarily such a bad thing. It means you don't have to worry about smashing your hands, but it does take time. It probably could get annoying over time to wait for it to collapse. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this, push it out, let it come down. And this is it doing by itself. I'm just going to hold on to it and let it come down. You can see that wasn't all the way up, but if it was, it would take quite a bit of time for this to collapse down on itself, which is kind of a good thing that we don't have to worry about smashing your hands like this one. So we'll go next door here. And another thing, as I lean against the rig here, you can see it doesn't have the rubber pads either at the top. That's a pretty good feature. That way you don't have to worry about damage things. This one doesn't have any of that protection. Just lean up there carefully. Come back over here. Now I'm going to show you this one. Now this is the one that drops really fast. You do not want to put your hands anywhere in between here because it will smash it. So I'll come down here and pulling these tabs with my thumbs. I know this is the base, so it's not going to crush my hands down here. If I pull them down, that's how fast it drops down into place. So it can be kind of dangerous. If you're not paying attention, you pull those and you put your hand on the wrong spot, it's going to smash it. Another thing I think the Telesteps have over these two are the way the feet sit. You saw on the Telestep how it sat flat. No matter which way I moved it, you can see the feet on this one are making contact, but it's not always staying flat. I can move it back and forth. Definitely not flat, and that's the same for this. It almost like comes to a point. So yeah, you still have traction, it's still touching, but it's really touching that middle part. It's not staying even as I move this back and forth, and that just doesn't give you as even of ground when you're going up and down that ladder. All the Telesteps are OSHA approved, so you don't have to worry about using them on the job sites. They're good to go there. It's also made out of aluminum, so that's good because it's not going to corrode, the weather and elements aren't going to bother it, but also it's lightweight. So it's going to be more lightweight than a ladder would be at this size, fully extended. Plus, that's helpful when it's all the way compacted and you're going to throw it in your compartment. It's still going to be lightweight when you're grabbing the whole thing and moving it around. Overall, I've been pretty impressed with the telescoping ladder. I first would start off kind of skeptical. I didn't think that it'd be really safe to climb up and down in it if it compacts down in itself, but the more I used it, the more I got comfortable with it, the more I trusted it, the more I knew that it locks into place. I have nothing to worry about with that. It's going to hold up. It was way easier to use than an A-frame ladder that I'd have to put that next to the rig and worry about tilting over back and forth. This leaned up against it. I could go right up to where I need to, whether I'm cleaning out the gutters up here, checking the AC, or just maybe I want to clean up high where I can't usually reach. Any of those things would be great for it. Plus, you could use it at home too. I really like that you have the full length of it, but you don't always have to use it. You don't have this big old ladder that you have to haul around everywhere. You can pull it up to where you need it and then compact it all the way back down and store it in your garage or your easy compartment. It doesn't take up that much space at all. Well, thanks for hanging out, and I hope this helped.